Hi everybody, welcome to Big Fish, Little Fish on a Friday, Addington race tonight. Craig Thompson, one of the more exciting horses in the country, post-COVID or not even post-COVID, Matuatana. Talk about horses you may not trust, but you can't deny the motor. He's going for 4 on end in race 8 tonight.
He's a horse we've always loved, Michael, but he's a horse we've never trusted. And again, last week he won, but there was that anxious moment after about 600 metres where he had that mid-race gallop. He caught them up and then he just out-muscled them. He's trotting great sectionals. The problem he's got going forward, Michael, he's going to have to get that gate 100% right. If we're coming to November and we're going to see him in Group 1 events, he can't afford to give them start. So I think that's something they're going to have to keep working on. No doubting the talent there, though. He's an awesome animal.
The nerve-wracking part is when he galloped last week, because you could see him trotting rough and behind. When he galloped, he disappeared out of the camera, the TV shot well. So if you couldn't tell if he had just galloped for 500 metres and had gone, or whether he'd come straight back into it. So it is really nerve-wracking stuff. I thought the handicap in race 8 tonight was basically irrelevant, because if he trots all the way, he'll give these horses 25, 30 metres, no stress. It's just a matter of, as you said, whether he'll trot all the way. He doesn't appear to be getting any better at that. So there's always that little concern at the moment. What price would you take as fair tonight, Craig?
Oh, man, I think he's meeting a similar field, and it's not going to be the handicap, you're right, that'll beat him. It'll be his manners. So I think you've got to be getting a similar price to what you got last week, Michael. It's a similar field. A couple of them have been let up in handicaps 10 metres, the likes of Sundine's Flyer. But to me, he's a horse that I think you multi up, but I couldn't back him individually because he'll be at very short odds. The bookmakers won't give you more than probably $2.20 for him. He'll be around that price. So if you're happy with that, jump aboard.
What about last week, those who backed Fabrizio? He was looking a little bit nervy pre-start. Then he got absolutely pincered at the start. It was a total disaster. Blair Orange came out of the sulky, which the most important part was he was fine. But for those who backed him in his first standing start, complete disaster. But tonight, back to the mobile. Is that enough?
I think he's in the right race with the right draw, Michael. And as we said last week on this Big Fish, Little Fish, he was always a risk at the short price, and he got the drifts on the night. And I don't think it was all his fault because the horse beside him got a little bit agitated as well, Michael. So you give him the benefit of the doubt from the standing start. But he is better placed tonight. Again, at what price you'll take. What I would say quickly about that race, Michael, go back and look at that race and analyse it in depth, because that race, sectionally wise, the last horse home, Mikey Maguire, I got home in 155.8, home in 55.4. So that race is a really good race going forward for horses out of that race that finished maybe 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th in that race. I think they've all got a win in them at very close proximity. So it's going to be a very good form race. Lulu Lemons is stepping up from last week. She's coming up in grade. Fabrizio's going down in grade. And then you've got Franco Niven, who's going from a stand to a mobile. So there's plenty of things that you can juggle up in this race, Michael. I haven't settled on one at this stage. I think Fabrizio would probably be my early top tip.
Yeah, me too. I think he'll win if he behaves himself, because I agree with you, the Mikey Maguires of the world are a nice, hardened old journeyman, but like Dr. Tim. But Fabrizio's probably got more upside than them. I think back to the mobile, I'll be willing to take $2.40, $2.50. What have you found for us on the 10 race card? First race tonight on Friday goes at 5 past 5.
Well, I think the best bet of the night, Michael, was in race number 3. We talked about Matuatana last week. I thought his stablemate was excellent in running second in Midnight Dash. Only a little 3-year-old, had to sit parked out for the first mile, got cover when Matuatana came round, and then pushed the big bloke to about half a length at the line. And I thought it was really good. Home in 57, last quarter in 27 seconds for a trotter, and he drops out of that Matuatana grade, down a grade to a mobile. Ben Hope aboard. I just thought it mapped beautifully. Thought clear best of the night. Race 3, number 6, Midnight Dash. The other one I want to highlight too is a 2-year-old going around in the following race, Michael. Horse that we put on our trials preview show last week is one to watch called Sweet Bell. 2-year-old by Sweet Lou, trained by Gerard O'Reilly. Has had 3 workouts and won all of them. Not ideally drawn, but one to follow in upcoming weeks. Really like it. Has good gate speed, run a half and 56 very easily. takes on Cracker Smile and La Rosa, which are drawn inside it. But just mark down Sweet Bell as one to follow in upcoming weeks.
Yeah, I thought really good at the workouts and the trials. Those wide barriers worry me, and I think a lot's going to depend on the start. If Jared just goes back at the start and is neutral, hard way to win on debut. If he thinks some of those inside him aren't coming off the gate or don't look that comfortable, Craig, and gets across them early doors, a lot more comfortable watch. But it's going to be interesting night. I can feel the depth starting to come. I actually had lunch with Mark Purdon yesterday, Craig, and he said, look, we've got a whole bunch of horses, a really big team, and they're getting ready. So they're getting close to coming out. Early August is going to be their push date. Also said they are considering bringing a big team to Alexandra Park around that time, depending on the stakes. So depending on where stakes end up there. So, yeah, I think a few people smart now getting some wins early doors, because I think things are going to get a lot tougher heading forward pretty darn quickly.
I was going to ask you about that, Michael. I mean, I think probably heading north with their team, but splitting up their big age group of 3-year-olds and 2-year-olds. I mean, with Addington racing Friday and Sunday, if you've got a lot of those horses in the same grade, you're probably going to have to split them up. Now, Stakes and Invercargill are fantastic at the moment. That may be another option for them as well, Michael, when they resume racing, maybe, as you say, in the new season. But I think, as you say, going forward, splitting up their team is probably going to be the way they'll do that. It's just which way will they go, deep south or heading north?
Yeah, well, a lot's going to depend on the stakes up north, because the stakes have come down a lot, obviously. And I think Rita are going to make their announcement on money going to the codes and therefore how that's disseminated. It could be as early as this week, but it could also be next week also. So, yeah, some interesting things in play there, and a lot of interested North Island trainers about that, Craig, because while everybody likes Mark and Nat, they'll be pretty darn keen not to see them turn up at Alexandra Park with 12 maidens. So that's going to be an interesting.
That might be something we can talk about, that stakes, Michael, and we know a little bit more at the end of this week and how that's progressing for next week for Big Fish, Little Fish.
We will do that, brother. I will see you tomorrow for Big Fish, Little Fish for In the Cable.